Hi there, welcome to Seasons Change. My name is Luann, and this is video number 2 of our monthly Prep Your Pantry challenge. The Prep Your Pantry monthly challenge is for anyone who's interested in expanding their current pantry or starting a backup pantry from scratch. It will consist of one video on the first of each month with a list of items so that we can expand our pantries together 1 month at a time. Regardless of what video you start out on, you can move right along with us, and then at the end you can circle back and pick up on the videos that you missed out on. Or you can start on video 1 and go from there. It's totally up to you. Now before we jump right into the challenge, I want to go over just a few topics with you. The first one is, remember that this is a way to prepare your family and your food storage for a crisis. Now, I have even mentioned that the golden rule in prepping is to stock what you eat and eat what you stock. But I also want to point out that there is a little gray area whenever it comes to this. And that is that you may end up stocking some things that you don't eat on a regular basis because they're going to store for a longer time. And what I'm talking about is survival foods, some canned foods. If you're used to eating fresh vegetables and now you're buying cans, it may not make you feel very comfortable purchasing these items, but over time you're going to find new ways to use these. For instance, with me, yes, on a daily I prefer fresh vegetables or frozen vegetables, but I do stock canned vegetables in my long-term food storage, and those are the items that I'm going to put in casseroles or soups. And I leave my fresh vegetables for the standalone side dishes. So that's just one example. Survival foods that you may buy. These are freeze-dried foods, and they're not the best tasting. But whenever you are trying to get into the prepper mindset, you have to think survival. You have to think worst case scenario. And if you have no running water and you have no electricity, you are going to be very thankful that you have a few items that are canned that all you have to do is pop the top and your hungry family is going to have a meal. Also, I want to point out that if we ever list anything in the challenge that you just do not eat, like for instance, if you were a vegetarian and we're doing canned meat, then you're going to stock up on whatever your protein substitute may be. The important part is that you have some source of long-term proteins on hand. I want you to think of this as food insurance for your family. I also want you to think worst case scenario. That way, heaven forbid anything happen, and we all hope that it doesn't, you will have all the bases covered. So along the way, as we go through each month, we're also going to be developing that mindset, but not all in this video. So let's just jump right on into those items so we can get started on this month's challenge. Oh, and one more thing before we do that. Keep in mind that the challenge is to expand on your current pantry or to start a new pantry from scratch. If I list an item that you already have in your current pantry, great. Then it's going to be easy for you to go out and continue to stock up on these items. The purpose of this is to grow and expand your pantry. Okay, so now let's go to the kitchen and let me show you what we have on our challenge for this month. Okay, so the first item for this month's challenge is going to be plain rice. And what I mean by plain is just simply white rice, brown rice, jasmine rice, basmati rice, any of the plain rices that don't have added flavorings or vegetables, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Here's a few examples of what I'm talking about. Let's start with the dried rices. I have a plain white rice here or a plain brown rice. Either one of these will be perfect for your prepper pantry. As far as storage, you can just leave them as they are for quite a while. I would say at least up to a year without having to worry about anything. Or you can get these straight into some 5-gallon buckets or Mylar bags. And some of you even like to put them in the mason jars with the vacuum sealer. So there's a lot of ways that you can go about storing bulk rice. Now, besides the dry, we can also enjoy having some minute rice in your prepper pantry. This is going to be an even easier item to prepare because all you're going to need is a little bit of hot water, and it's going to be ready in a far less time than what the dried rice would be. So this is a great addition to a prepper pantry. Now, to be even easier, we have the Uncle Ben's Ready Rice. Now, Uncle Ben's is just one of the brands. It's the one that I prefer, but Aldi's also has a lot of ready rices that I'm growing to love. And this is even more convenient than what the minute rice would be because this is ready already. If you're in a situation where you have no electricity, no running water, no way to heat water, if any of those scenarios is your situation, then you can rest assured all you have to do is rip the top off of this and you can eat it straight out of the package. Now, the only thing that I do want to point out here is that I am not recommending the flavored rice. You can get the Uncle Ben's in white rice, brown rice, basmati rice, jasmine. Go for one of the plain rices, not something that has the added flavors or added vegetables, because that's going to be a whole other topic at a later time. And one example also of what I'm talking about are these rice side dishes. This is the chicken flavor with broccoli. It's rice and pasta blend with broccoli and a chicken flavored sauce. Let's not concentrate on these right now. Let's put all of our focus into the plain rices. Again, that's dried, minute, or the ready already Uncle Ben's, or whatever brand that you prefer, but basically the ready rice. There are so many benefits to adding rice to your regular diet, plus having a good backup supply in your prepper pantry. It's full of proteins, fibers, potassium, carbohydrates. It's going to give you energy, and it's going to leave you feeling full. There are 1,000,001 reasons that you should have rice in your backup pantry, and I don't have time in this video to go into all of them. So let's move on to the next item. Okay, so the next item is going to be water. I cannot stress to you how important it is to have a good backup supply of water. We as humans can go without food, but we cannot survive without water. Also, you're probably noticing how necessary it is to have water just to prepare a lot of the foods that we're going to have in our backup pantry. Now, it's recommended to supply 1 gallon of water per family member per day. So you can never have too much. You're going to need this for cooking, you're going to need it for drinking, and you're going to need it for bathing. So again, I cannot stress how important water is to have in your backup. And in my opinion, you cannot buy too much of this stuff. If you have somewhere to store it, buy it. This may even be something that you want to continue adding to your grocery trips, whether it's on this pantry challenge or not. Okay, here's some ideas of how you can store water or start buying it up. We have the 1 gallon jugs that you can buy this in. Of course, there's the cases of bottled water. You can get these in 16 ounces and in 20 ounce bottles, as well as the little ones, but I'm not real sure why you would want little ones in your backup pantry. Also, you can fill up these water jugs. This is a 5 gallon water jug. You know, there's really not much that I can educate you on whenever it comes to water, because it is just that simple. However you can get it, however you can store it, stock up on water. My only recommendation is not to store these in a hot environment if they're going to be in the plastic bottles. Now, further down the line, we can get into water purification. But right now, I just want you to get in the habit of always buying a little extra water. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Okay, and so number 3 is going to be canned meat. And as I mentioned in the intro, maybe you're a vegetarian or vegan and you do not eat animal products. You're going to take this as an opportunity to stock up on long-term items that you can use as a substitute. Here's just a few examples of some long-term meat items that you can buy. One of the most popular ones is Spam, and I don't have any right now, but I do have Treat. And this is just a canned luncheon type meat. I think it's very, very similar to Spam. So if you like Spam, you'll probably be okay with Treat. Another canned item that I really stock a lot of these is salmon. Salmon has omega-3s and so many other benefits, just like the rice. This is one of the staples in my backup pantry because it's just packed full of good nutrients and proteins that your family's gonna need. Plus, it's very versatile. You can make salmon patties. You can make a salad out of this. There's just a lot of things. You can add this to the rice. It's a very versatile food, the way that they have it packed in the cans, and it's fully cooked already. So if worst comes to worst, you can just pop the top on this can too, and you're gonna be okay. Here's a canned ham. We all have heard of those. You're just simply gonna peel the top off of this, which is another added benefit. A lot of these have the pull tabs, so you're not gonna have to wrestle around and keep up with a can opener, or if in some instance you lost your can opener or it got broke, you can still get some meat into your diet. So here's a canned ham. Sardines, again, look these items up and look at their health benefits. All of these are really, really good to have. All of these are great sources of protein and vital nutrients that you're gonna need. Corned beef. This has the little key that you put on there and easy open that way too. I like these with some fried potatoes, or worst case scenario, you can eat any of these straight out of the can. Here's some canned chicken. This reminds me, I did not bring out an example of tuna, but of course I think we all know what tuna is. Comes in a can just like this, and they're both, again, very versatile. You can eat them straight out of the can, or you can add them to other prepper items to create a meal. And lastly, I have an example here of some canned roast beef. So any of these canned meats are going to be the perfect addition to your backup prepper pantry, and it's going to bring great peace of mind of knowing the way that they have them packaged. You'll have no trouble getting into them, even if you lose your can opener. They're fully cooked if you don't have running water or a heat source. And trust me, if this is all that you have to survive on, you're going to get past the taste. And now let's move on to the final item. Okay, this is our non-food item for the week, and that is dental hygiene. The last thing you're going to want to have to deal with in a crisis is a toothache or an abscess tooth. So let's take this month as a great opportunity to focus in on all of your dental hygiene needs, whether it's just toothpaste and toothbrushes, which is perfectly fine to only have those two items. We have floss, the regular stringed floss, where you can buy these little plackers. And this, I do recommend getting your hands on some antiseptic mouthwash, because if you do get a toothache or a little bit of gingivitis or anything going on, this is going to be a great first aid item to have on hand. Plus, I'm sure there's many other uses for an antiseptic mouthwash. Now, if you get the flavored or you get the original, that's totally up to you. But I do recommend that you focus in on trying to get your hands on some antiseptic mouthwash, the toothbrushes, and some toothpaste at the very least. Now, the way that I store mine is I have the little plastic shoe boxes and just fill them full of toothbrushes, fill one full of toothpaste, throw your different types of dental floss. Now, dental floss is also good to have on hand because it has many prepping uses as well. So if you can, try to focus on all of these items. But if you can only get one or two items, of course, it's going to be the toothpaste and the toothbrushes. Well, that's going to do it for this month's Prep Your Pantry Challenge. And remember, we do have that Facebook group. It is not required, but it is a good source of added contact where you can ask any questions or anything that may come up throughout the month. We can continue to stay in contact. A few of you have been very active on there, and I really appreciate that. Feel free to share your pictures, how you do your storage, and ask any questions, because we have a lot of experienced preppers that have joined our group. If you haven't subscribed to Seasons Change yet, be sure to do so now and hit that little notification bell so that you never miss a video. I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group, down in the comments, and in the next challenge. Until then, stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you next time. Bye.